The two most important things we need to understand are the plan of salvation and how the world really works. Uh, on, I've been thinking about making a video about how the world really works, but at the same time, I was a bit reluctant to do that because I know that it's not that easy to make a video on that topic, and also unfortunately, there's not one single book that I can refer you to say go and read that book and you'll find out all the information you need to know on that topic. But it's quite an in-depth topic, and also there's a lot of secrecy about how the world really works. It doesn't work according to what is shown on TV or what is said on radio. Or let me just say, it's not the world doesn't work according to what we are told in the mainstream media. And even in the alternative media, there are very few people who actually talk about who's really pulling the strings at the very top of the various organizations that are involved in ruling the world. And there isn't one organization that's running everything. Even the one of the organizations I'm going to speak about, not in this particular video, but at some point, maybe in the next video, I might talk about who is at the very top of the pyramid of power and control. But even that organization is not running everything. They have other organizations that work for them, because it's like peeling an onion. In order to get to the core of the onion, you have to peel away the layers on the outside. So that's what I've discovered, and like I say, I was a bit reluctant actually. This came into my mind to say I need to share what I've learned over the past 20 or so years from my research and studies, and what God has taught me through His holy word and in speaking to me. But it's not that easy to share that information in one video, so this will have to be a series of videos, unfortunately. I just need to break it down into smaller chunks that are easier to chew. So the first thing, like I already mentioned, that the world is ruled or controlled through a pyramid of power and control. So I'll start with who's at the very top of that pyramid, and of course, the one at the very top of the pyramid is Satan, often represented by the all-seeing eye, such as we see on the US dollar. One of the greatest deceptions that the devil has pulled off is that he has deceived most of the world, not everyone, but most of the world, into believing that he doesn't exist. Because, I mean, this is one of the things that even the way the devil's modus operandi is copied by even the secret societies. They do the same thing. They hide behind the curtain so that the masses don't know who's really pulling the strings. So very often on TV, where the finger is often pointed at characters that are just patsies, patsies like Lee Harvey Oswald, who they say assassinated JFK, but he wasn't really the assassin. In fact, Lee Harvey Oswald didn't even shoot one bullet at JFK. It's well known now that he was actually working for the CIA, and there are many sources that say that he was actually in Dealey Plaza that day. He worked in that building where they claim he fired the shots from, but actually some researchers have found out that he had actually stopped an assassination attempt on JFK previously, and he was in Dealey Plaza that day trying to stop that particular assassination as well on that day, but obviously he failed, and then they pointed the finger at him and said that he's the one that killed JFK, but obviously that's a lie. So anyway, I was talking about Satan being at the top of the pyramid of power and control. So I just want to share with you how I know that and how the devil does that, and what proof I have of that. So I mentioned, like on the US dollar, you see the all-seeing eye at the very top of the pyramid, and there's a like a small gap between the all-seeing eye and the pyramid itself, and the different layers at the bottom of the pyramid. And the reason why there's a gap there is because the New World Order has not been achieved yet. He said that when the New World Order has been achieved, that gap is going to be closed up. Maybe we'll see. Maybe perhaps I'm not prophesying, but maybe we'll see a new U.S. note, a new U.S. dollar note with a complete pyramid without a gap between the all-seeing eye and the lower levels of the pyramid. So anyway, in John 8:44, Jesus referred to the devil as the father of lies, and he's given that title because the devil was the first one to tell a lie in heaven, and a third of the angels fell for his lies, because no one had ever told a lie before. So it was very difficult for them to know who was telling the truth, and obviously let me just address the issue of a third of the angels being thrown out from heaven. That's where we get that's why we have this number 33 that's often repeated, especially in the news. If you see the number 33, it's basically it's a sign to the insiders that whatever is being spoken about on the news is actually it's most of the time it's a hoax. It's just to let the insiders know that what's actually going on is not true. So 33 is a third of 100. So that's why the number 33 is often repeated. Some give other reasons for why that number is used so often, but that's what I've found out, why the number 33 is used quite often. So that's why we have 33 degrees in Freemasonry. It's the highest level in Freemasonry. I mean, there are some who claim that you can actually go beyond 33. You can go higher than 33 degrees. But from my studies, from my research in the books that I've read, including watching the videos which were done by Professor Walter Veith, especially the ones in the Total Onslaught, where he basically exposes the secret societies. He talks about that number quite a bit. So lying is a form of deception. So because I just mentioned that the devil was the first one to tell a lie in heaven. Lying is actually a form of deception. So in order to understand how the world works, which is what I'm talking about, like I said, this is going to be part one of a series of videos. We need to understand that the devil works through deception. So Adam and Eve handed over dominion of the earth to Satan when they sinned by believing the devil instead of God. And that was obviously done through deception. So in Revelation 12 verse 9, we read that the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And then in Matthew 24, and I'm not going to go to Matthew 24 and read everything, but we are actually warned 4 times. When the disciples asked Jesus what the signs of his coming would be, Jesus warned his disciples and us, because we are also disciples as well. He warned us that there's going to be deception. 4 times he said that, especially if you go to verses 4 and 5 and the other verses after that. We are warned 4 times that there's going to be deception. So we're not to believe everything we hear and see, especially for those who are still watching TV. Don't believe everything you see on the TV. It's all lies. It's all propaganda to get you to think a certain way and to accept whatever agenda it's being pushed upon the whole world. Because, in fact, I forgot to put this on my notes, but I wanted to talk about what the devil's aims really are for this world. I'd say maybe 3 or 4 aims. First one would be to strip us of all our God-given rights, and that's being done slowly, because the devil works incrementally. It's like the old illustration where they talk about boiling a frog. The devil works incrementally, so he wants to strip us of all our God-given rights, and we see that happening through such things as the war of terror, where we have anti-terror laws being introduced. Those laws actually strip us of our rights, and then we have climate change, the climate change hoax, where they're saying human beings are basically a threat, the greatest threat to the environment, and because of that we are seeing laws being introduced, and in fact one of the laws, which is basically it's coming, it's not here yet, is what's called a National Sunday Law. Maybe I'll do a short video after this just talking about that, where they're going to say that in order to save the planet, everyone needs to rest 1 day a week to stop carbon emissions. What else? I'll say the other thing that the devil wants to do is to enslave every man, woman and child on this earth. And then another thing he wants to do, which maybe would be number 3, the number 3 goal would be to get everyone to worship him. And we see that agenda addressed in Revelation 13. Where such things as the no buy, no sell issue is going to be forced upon everyone, because to try and force everyone to follow the agenda. We know that those who are at the very top of the pyramid are working for the devil, and they will want to force everyone, whoever's remaining on the earth, because we know that there's a plan to kill most of Earth's inhabitants by various different means, which I've addressed in many videos previously. Those who remain on the earth are going to be coerced through legislation to worship the devil, and some of that is going to be done through the issue of finance, which we read about in Revelation 13, the issue of buying and selling. So yeah, ultimately the devil wants to be worshipped, but I mean most people won't do that willingly. There is a small percentage who are quite happy to do that, but most human beings don't want to do that. Even those who are not Christian won't want to do that. So he will do that through. He will try and get worship through deception, and then eventually through coercion for those that don't want to take part. Yeah, so in Revelation 20, verse 8 and 10, it also talks about how, this is talking about the second coming, and it talks about how when the New Jerusalem comes down from heaven and lands on this earth, God will resurrect those, the unsaved, if I can call them that, those who have not been saved, who did not make it to heaven, and who are not in the New Jerusalem when it comes down. They are going to be resurrected by God before their final destruction, and the devil will claim that he's the one that resurrected them. I mean, that it doesn't say that in the book of Revelation, but we know that the devil works through deception, so he's going to claim that. And then it says that they are going to surround the New Jerusalem in an attempt to basically overthrow the saints who are in the New Jerusalem. So and it talks about, it says the devil deceives all who are lost into trying to conquer God and his saints who are in the New Jerusalem. So even at the very last minute, to the very last few days, the devil will be working to try and achieve his agenda through deception. So he's not going to give up. So I've got some text that I want to share here that show that the devil actually owns this world that we live in. I want to share those just now.